right, I think we are all online now, so that's good. Let me make sure, just one more thing. Let me make sure we are on the air here, so I can start here. Again, these quick spin ups here. All right, I think we are live. Yes, we are live. So, all right, I'm going to keep this going. Let me turn the volume down so we can start. All right, so we do have a new tornado warning that has been issued for Gaston County. This is going to go until I think about 2:45 here. Um, Let me get that. Yeah, till 2:45. So let's go to the radar here, and I'll show you what's taking place. Um, so we have a new tornado warning. If you was with us just a little bit ago, this was the same storm that was moving through Cleveland County. We're still seeing a little bit of kind of an inflow notch here, and that's what is prompting the tornado warning. So you can see this is the area of rotation that we were watching near South Gastonia and Gastonia. This is just moved out of the Kings Mountain area. And so you can kind of see this inflow notch, and that's what we are watching. Let's see the rotation. So you can see here's some of the broad rotation that we are seeing with this storm. So again, this is a new tornado warning that goes out until 2:45. We can go over here to the terminal Doppler. You can kind of see there's still some broad rotation there as well, but enough rotation to prompt this tornado warning. And this is for Gaston County. This includes the areas of Gastonia, Crowders, South Gastonia. This is along Highway 29, Interstate 85 as well. So this rotation will be moving into the 321 corridor here in just a little bit. So if you live in Gastonia, you want to be in your safe place. If you live in South Gastonia and Crowders, the Crowders Mountain area, you want to be in your safe place. And so let's pull up a graphic here, and we'll kind of show you where a good place to be for this tornado warning. So let's go here to our severe weather graphics. And so here's what we need to do and where we need to go if you are in this tornado warning. So again, here we go. Here's the graphic I was wanting to look at. So here's the best place to go for tornado warning. The worst option, obviously, is mobile homes and vehicles and underneath highway overpasses. So hopefully you have a basement or a storm cellar in your house, and that's where you definitely want to be. But if you don't have those, you need to be in the most interior part of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside, and that way it will kind of protect you from any of the flying debris. So again, here's another graphic. What to do. You want to get off. If you're on the road, if you know someone on the road, you want to get off the road. And the best option is to drive to a designated shelter, basement, or safe room. Where you want to go into a building, the most interior part of that building. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And that way, if there is any flying debris, you will be away from that. So again, let's go to the radar here and show you what's taking place. Again, this is a tornado warning. This is going to be coming into Gaston County. So if you live in South Gastonia, Crowders, Gastonia, you want to be in your safe places. Again, this is going to be our area of rotation. It's getting ready to move into Gastonia, between Gastonia and South Gastonia. So you want to be in your safe place. So here is the rotation. That's what we kind of call an inflow notch. And this is honestly the best it's looked radar signature-wise all day with this storm that was previously in Cleveland County. So again, South Gastonia and Gastonia, you want to be in your safe place. So you want to be in the most interior part of your home. If you have a basement or a storm cellar, that's the best place to be. But if you don't, you want to be in the most interior part of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Most likely a closet, bathroom. Just make sure there's no windows there. Maybe a pantry, something like that. That way, you are away from the windows. You want to make sure that you have some sort of protection over your head, preferably a helmet, maybe a big thick blanket, mattress, something like that that would keep you and your head safe from any flying debris. You also want to make sure you have some eye protection and even some sturdy shoes. So if there was a tornado and you had to walk out in the debris, you would have some sort of protection for your feet. So again, this tornado warning is out for Gaston County. This goes until 2:45, and this is really, this is the best radar signature I've seen all day with this storm. So if you live in this area, you need to be in your safe place. Let's go to the CCs. Let's see if we can see any CC lowering. It's still kind of messy there. So we'll continue to watch that product as well. So let's go to our velocities here. Still kind of messy. Let's go over here to our terminal Doppler radar out of the Charlotte airport. This is a little bit closer to the system, and you can see this storm that's moving through Gastonia, this Gaston County. So again, if you live in South Gastonia along Highway 321, Highway 29, 274, Interstate 85, this is the warning. So if you are in Gastonia, you need to be in your safe place right now. I'm looking here on our Facebook Live. A few questions coming about Cleveland County. So Cleveland County, your tornado warning has been canceled. The rotation has moved out of your area. You can still see some heavy rain, some lightning, maybe some gusty winds. But the main concern right now is this tornado warning that is in for Gaston County. Switch over here to the terminal Doppler. And so this is what we are looking at. This is the area of rotation that we are watching. And so this is right in this area is the rotation. So we're looking at possibly 50, 60 mile per hour winds just off the surface as it's getting ready to move over Highway 321 between South Gastonia and Gastonia. So if you live in that area, you need to be in your storm shelter. Hudson Boulevard, here's Franklin 274. You have Franklin Boulevard in this area, Garrison Boulevard, all in these locations. Robinwood Road, we have Hoffman Road. These locations need to be in your storm cellar, in your storm shelter, as this potential tornado warned storm moves through the area. So this tornado warning goes until 2:45. So if you live in Crowders, South Gastonia, and Gastonia, you need to be in your tornado shelters. A couple other locations to watch. If you live on Robinwood Road over towards 279, Hoffman Road, those locations, just some of the roads that are in these in this tornado warning. Obviously, there's some more smaller streets, but what my radar program right now is just pulling up some of the more bigger roads. So again, we are watching this rotation. Let's go back over to the Greenville, South Carolina rotation, and it's kind of messy here. Make sure that we are good here. So again, this is South Gastonia. These are some heavy winds that are moving into the area. This could be a potential tornado. Again, this would likely be rain wrapped. You wouldn't visibly see the funnel. There's some heavy rain developing in this storm. So if this was a tornado on the ground, you would not visually be able to see it off in the distance. It would look more like a wall of rain or a curtain of rain moving into your area. So if you live in Gastonia and South Gastonia, you need to be in your safe place right now as this tornado warning continues to move into Gaston County. This tornado warning continues until 2:45. And that's another 15 minutes or so as this storm continues to move through. So we are waiting for our next radar frame update. But I can tell you, if you are traveling along Interstate 85, you need to, or if you know someone traveling along Interstate 85, you need to get in touch with them if they're planning to go into Gastonia, as this storm is about to move through a very populated area. Gastonia is a very populated area. and hopefully folks are seeking shelter from this storm. The radar is really impressive here with this rotation. This is probably the best radar images of this storm that I've seen all day, rotation wise. So, again, no confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but at least we are. Yeah, I don't see anything. Sorry about that. I don't see anything going on right now that, from the Weather Service at least, that's saying there's a tornado on the ground. I'm going to flip over to. While you're seeing this, I'm going to flip over to my Twitter feed, see if I can see any tweets that are coming out in this area. See if there's anything coming out. So again, I don't see any damage reports, at least coming through on Twitter, but that doesn't mean that there's not a tornado there. We just need to continue to watch it as this rotation continues to move through Gaston County. So I don't see anything, so that's some good news, but that doesn't mean that there's not anything there. So some strong rotation again being on our Doppler radars that we are watching. Yeah, so there's the signature, guys. This is really wrapping up right now. So if you are in Gastonia, please be in your safe place right now. I do not like the looks of this radar as it's moving into Gastonia. So again, this is what we call an inflow notch. You can see this appendage right here. I would not be surprised at all to see the rotation may pass just south of downtown Gastonia, but I would not be surprised at all if this was actually on the ground. So again, if you live on Highway 321 and Highway 274, East Hudson Boulevard, you need to be in your storm shelters right now as this storm is moving into Gaston County. Again, this is a very dangerous storm that is moving into the area. This is its velocity couple. It's looking pretty impressive with this radar signature here. So please be on alert in Gaston County. If you live in Gastonia, you need to be in your safe place. As the storm continues to move, the next communities would be Lowell and Belmont. You need to keep your eye on this storm as it moves through Gaston County. Again, you want to be in the safest place in your home, which is a basement or a storm cellar. If you do not have that, you need to be in the most interior part of your home. That would be a central hallway, a closet, a food pantry, even some bathrooms. If it doesn't have a window, that's a good place to be. You want to be away from the walls and the windows. You want to make sure that you have some sort of protection, some helmet or something over your head, big thick blanket, mattress, something that's going to keep you protected from flying debris. You also want to make sure that you have some sort of eye protection if there is any flying debris, and some sturdy shoes if there was a tornado to hit and you had to walk out in the debris field. You want to make sure that your feet are protected. So again, this is a tornado warning continuing for Gaston County. The rotation is going to pass just between Gastonia and South Gastonia. If you live on East Hudson Boulevard, you are in the grips of this storm right now as it moves into your area. Let's go over here to the terminal Doppler. And we're continuing to look at that. Let me see if the Weather Service has posted anything here. So let me look over here at the weather chat. No reports yet for any damage or anything, so that is good. But again, this tornado warning continues until 2:45. If you live in Gaston County, you need to be in your storm shelter, especially between Gaston and South Gastonia, Gastonia and South Gastonia, and Crowder's Mountain area. That is where this rotation's moving. So you need to be in your safe place right now. We're not hearing anything from the Skywarn storm spotters out there. Nothing from them yet. I'm going to, while I'm on camera, I'm looking here on several different things. We'll go back to radar in just a second. I want to make sure that I'm not missing any damage reports that may be coming in. So just bear with me for just a second. I just want to see if there's any reports coming in from any of our storm spotters out there that would be in this location. I do know some folks out there, but not really seeing anything. Um, Not really seeing anything that's coming in. So that's a good sign, but that's not to say that they're not there. Let me continue to look through Twitter and see if there's anything that populates through this area. Again, social media is a great tool when these storms move through, because a lot of folks will tag NCWX, and that will kind of populate in our database, and we'll be able to see if there's any rotation. So again, let's go back to the radar here and show you what it looks like. We're continuing to watch this potential tornado warned storm. So the inflow notch still there. This is going to be moving over Highway 321 right now. So if you live on 274, East Hudson Boulevard, Robinwood Road, in those areas, you need to make sure that you are in your storm shelter. Let's see what the Weather Service. So this is, again, being extended. The tornado warning now has been extended for Mecklenburg County. So if you live in Mecklenburg County, portions of Mecklenburg County now under that tornado warning, that will be extended into the Mount Holly, Belmont area. The radar just now populating, so let's get that on, and I will show you that new extension of the tornado warning. So let's share that. Here's the radar. So now Belmont, Mount Holly, even this is a Charlotte Douglas International Airport, Paul Creek. This is all locations now in this tornado warning as this storm continues to move. There's also a threat for hail, 1.25 inch diameter hail possible. So that's a little bit bigger than quarter to half dollar size hail that is potentially going to be moving through Gastonia right now. So if you live in downtown Gastonia or in that location, I know there's like Tony's Ice Cream there, the downtown area. There's a convention center in downtown Gastonia. Right up here is highway or Interstate 85. So the more populated areas like Franklin Boulevard is up in this area. So you are most likely going to see some very heavy rain, potentially some hail, but the rotation will be south of you towards the South Gastonia area as it continues to move off to the west. So this new warning will continue until 3:15. And this tornado warning includes Gastonia, Mount Holly, Belmont. Let's see, some other locations that would be affected: Renlo, McAdenville, Cramerton, Lowell, Mount Holly, Paul Creek, and Northwest Charlotte, into all in this tornado warning polygon. So again, this is for Gaston and Mecklenburg County until 3:15. This is a potential tornado with half dollar size hail. This is a radar indicated, so there's not been any visual proof that we've seen any tornado. There's no pictures or anything. This is all from radar indicated rotation as it continues to move through Gastonia. So let's go over to our terminal Doppler look here, and let's turn on the reflectivity first. Let's see what it looks like here with reflectivity. So again, this is the location that we're looking at. This is from the Charlotte Douglas Airport. So this is fairly close to this storm. So we're getting a pretty good read on it as it moves into the eastern portions of Gaston County into northwest Mecklenburg County. So again, Lowell, McAdenville, Renlo, Spencer Mountain, Mount Holly, Cramerton, Belmont, you are all in the path of the storm. And so if you live, let's see, this is Robinwood Road, Hudson Boulevard. These locations, there's a Highway 279. These locations right now are all in this tornado warning until 3:15 as this storm continues to move between Gastonia and South Gastonia on Highway 321. So this will be moving into the Cramerton, McAdenville, Lowell area and Renlo in the next 5 to 10 minutes as it moves off to the east. So again, if you live in those locations, you need to be in your safe place, lowest level of your home. Hopefully you have a basement or a storm cellar. That's the best place to be. But if you do not, you want to be in the most interior part of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You want to make sure that you have some sort of safety helmet on or something that's protecting your head, maybe a mattress or a blanket, a big thick blanket. You also want to make sure you have some type of protection on your eyes and some good shoes. So if there was a tornado and you had to walk out of your home, there's most likely going to be some debris out there, and you don't want to step on that and cause any further injury. Again, this is going to be a very wet and dangerous commute on Interstate 85, as this rotation is going to pass just to the south right now of Gastonia. So the rotation is along Highway 29 and Highway 279. So between 29 and 279, that is where we see the rotation right now. That will be moving into the Cramerton, McAdenville areas in just a little bit. So that's exits. I'm trying to think it's exit 20. It's like 26, 27 on Interstate 85. So if you're in those areas, McAdenville known for the Christmas lights. So if you don't know where McAdenville, but the Christmas lights kind of maybe rings your bell. That's where this storm is headed towards. Low and Renlow, Spencer Mountain, all in these locations again until 3:15 p.m. So I'm going to turn this screen share off for just a second. I want to look through our Twitter stream here, see if there's any pictures. I do see some cloud pictures coming out of that area, but I don't see anything that would say, hey, there's a tornado on the ground. But again, this would most likely be rain wrapped. This is going to be heading towards McAdenville, Renlow, and Cramerton over the next little bit, North Charlotte, Northwest Charlotte, in those locations. So again, watch out for this area. This is going to be passing pretty close to the Charlotte Douglas Airport, so I would not be surprised to see some delays out of the airport from this storm. So again, Gaston and Mecklenburg counties in North Carolina under a tornado warning until 3:15. This rotation right now is passing through Gaston County, Gastonia, as it moves into the Northwest Mecklenburg County. So again, I don't really don't see any trees or anything, any damage being reported out of these areas. Just seeing some pictures of the clouds, but the clouds really don't represent anything tornadic. So let me look at another source here. I'm going to look in our NWS chat, see if there's anything being reported in there. I haven't heard anything. Let's see. The fire. So looking through our NWS chat, this is kind of a room that we can speak with meteorologists from the Weather Service, the media, and it's also got some emergency official crews in there, and someone with the fire department saying no reports yet of any damage. So that is a good sign. So let's go back to the radar. We will see what is going on, taking place right now with the radar. Again, this tornado, some very gusty winds now going to be moving into the Belmont area over the next little bit. So even if there's no tornado, we could see some very gusty winds in excess of 50, 60 miles per hour. It has been a pretty rainy morning and afternoon for portions of western North Carolina, including the Charlotte metro area. So wind speeds this high could produce some tornadoes. So again, this is a very traveled area, Interstate 85. So here's some things to do if you are caught in your vehicle. Maybe someone you know is driving towards the Charlotte area on Interstate 85 between Gaston and Mecklenburg County. You do not want to seek refuge under one of the overpasses. You want to find a safer shelter. Those underpasses, they kind of act like a wind tunnel, so they can actually intensify the wind as the storm passes over those. So you do not want to be there. Don't seek shelter under a tree or anything like that. you can be at great risk because of the flying debris with this potential tornado. You want to get off the road, find a pretty safe structure, and just hunker down as this storm continues to move through the area. So here is our radar out of the Charlotte Douglas Airport, and let's see if we can tog some of these winds right here. So again, they're showing, and these could be a little bit off, so we'll continue to monitor those. But again, this tornado warning goes until 3:15. It looks like it's kind of cycled now. The signature doesn't look as dramatic as it did right as it was moving into Gastonia, but you can kind of still see this appendage here. So we'll have to see if we can get any more inflow to be ingested with this storm. You can see this area doesn't have a lot of moisture, so we could see some inflow being fed back in, and we can kind of see this storm reform. But again, along Interstate 85 right now between Gastonia and Belmont, you want to be in your safe place as this tornado warned storm continues to move into this area. This storm was going to pass really close, very close to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, and I'm sure there are several delays right now with this storm moving in. I would probably say there's probably some ground stoppages as this storm continues to move into the area. So Belmont, Mount Holly, Lowell, Renlo, Cramerton, Spencer's Mountain, you all need to be in your safe place as this storm continues to move to the east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. This tornado warning continues for another 30 minutes until 3:15 as it continues to move through Gaston County. So you can see radar here. I'm going to look on my phone, see if you guys have any comments with this. So see if we have anything coming in from the area. I don't see anything right now, so that is good. At least none of you all are reporting any damage, and that's good. We want to keep you safe. So looking through this again, the tornado warning continues until 3:15 for Gaston and Northwest Mecklenburg counties. That is where this potential storm and the signature, well, at least radar signature, looking a little bit better now. So that's some good news as it passes through the Belmont and Mount Holly areas. So let me turn off here and see what our weather, our chat's saying. Still nothing coming from chat. Let me check our social media streams here and see if we can see any of you all reporting any damage via that. Also looking for the potential of anything on Twitter saying that there's been some damage in these areas. I don't see anything, but I'm continuing to scroll through these. Again, nothing that I see that is of concern. So that is good. But again, this tornado warning continues until 3:15 for Gaston County as well as Northwest Mecklenburg County. And so you definitely want to be in your storm shelter if you live in these communities. Let's get back over to the radar. That way you can see these communities that I'm talking about. Let's share a screen here. So if you live in Lowell, Renlo, McAdenville, Cramerton, you want to be in your storm shelters. Belmont, another location, Mount Holly, up towards Spencer's Mountain. You are in this tornado warning, as well as Paul Creek and the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. You can see the runways right here, and here's where the tornado warning passes. So it's very close to the airport. So I would imagine there's some delays or even some stoppages. Stoppages. Is that even a word? Stoppages, I guess, for the airport as this storm continues to move into the area. So let's go back over here to this radar. This one's coming out of the Greenville, South Carolina area. This radar coming from the Charlotte Douglas Airport. And again, the rotation looking a little bit better, so that is good. It's not as definitive as it was approaching Gastonia and South Gastonia, so that is good. We're going to continue to stay on this storm. until the warning is allowed to expire or canceled. But again, Mount Holly, Belmont, you need to be in your storm shelters. Lowell and Renlo, you should have already been there. Belmont, Mount Holly, you should be there now. And then Paul Creek, you need to be getting there as well as this storm continues to move to the northeast or east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So again, at 2:33, this warning hasn't been updated for a while. The hail potential as well we talked about earlier has diminished a little bit. There's still potential for up to nickel to potentially quarter size hail, but the $half size hail threat has weakened as of right now. Leslie asking about this storm headed towards Raleigh and Chapel Hill. Not this particular storm, but there are going to be some storms in the area this afternoon, so we will continue to monitor those as we go throughout the afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center produced a mesoscale discussion, and basically just what that is they highlight an area that of interest that has some storms going on. They put a 5% chance of seeing a watch issued, so that shows that they are not overly concerned for widespread severe weather that would prompt a watch. But again, we are watching these storms as they continue to move into the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. First of all, this storm was warned in Cleveland County. We had a tornado warning for Cleveland County and northeast Cherokee County, South Carolina. As it moved through Kings Mountain, the storm recycled and was able to tighten up rotation-wise pretty good as it moved into the Gastonia, South Gastonia area. So if there was any tornado, that was the best signature that I've seen with this cell as it moved into Gastonia. And now it's weakened once again as it moves along Interstate 85 into the Belmont and Mount Holly area. And then eventually will be into the Paul Creek area of northwest Mecklenburg County. So let's go over to the terminal Doppler. You can see all these lines right here are lightning strikes. We did get one report here from an MPing user reporting some small hail in the Lowell community. So that is good that we don't see any large hail, because that will also do some damage to your property. Let's see what the Weather Service is saying. A weather warning has been issued for the Charlotte Douglas Airport. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So that means there's been lightning within 5 miles of the airport. So I'm sure there's some delays going on right now at the Charlotte Douglas Airport. Excuse me. I didn't mean to yawn there. So again, I'm Scotty Powell here with the Carolina Weather Group. We're continuing to watch this severe weather move through the area, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, as a tornado warning continues for Gaston and northwest Mecklenburg County until 3:15. The tornado warned storm that's moving through Gaston County right now, the rotation signatures have weakened just a little bit, so that is some good news. But as it moves into a very populated area, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, we need to keep our eyes on this system. So again, if you live in Belmont and Mount Holly, right now you are under the biggest threat of seeing some gusty winds. We can see potentially wind speeds of 50, 60 miles per hour moving through the Belmont area. So with the rain coming down and these winds, that could definitely produce some tree damage as these storms move through the area. So again, these storms, Gastonia, you are fine now. The rotation has passed through. So that is a good sign as it moves into the Belmont, Lowell, and Mount Holly area over the next couple of minutes. So again, if you're traveling on Interstate 85, you definitely want to make sure that you are off the interstate because of the heavy rain threat and the potential tornado threat. Looking through Twitter here and see if we see anything. I don't see anything that is, I don't see anything crazy. Do have a report of dime-sized hail in the Lowell community. This coming from Candace Jordan, a friend of ours here on the Carolina Weather Group. She's reporting her brother-in-law sent her a report of dime-sized hail in Lowell over the past few minutes. So at least dime-sized hail being reported over Lowell. So there's Lowell. So that was probably with this this area of the storm. You can kind of see the brighter colors, and that means heavier precipitation in that area. Let's check in on the correlation coefficient. Again, nothing that really screams out, hey, there's a tornado on the ground. So that is good. I don't see anything too major. So that is what we like to see. Let's go over to our rotation here. We still have a lot of broad rotation heading over Belmont. But again, nothing that is really tightened up. So that is some good news as the storm continues to move over Belmont and Mount Holly. So let's go back to our velocities here. There's our base velocities, but we like to look at the storm relative velocities. And so again, Mount Holly, Belmont, this storm passing through your areas right now. This will eventually come into the Paul Creek community. So if you live in Paul Creek, you want to be in your safe place right now. Highway 27 in the path of the storm, as is Highway 16 and Interstate 85. So let me see what the Weather Service is saying. No updates coming out of the Weather Service office. So that is some good news. We don't see any damage reports or anything like that coming in. So that is definitely some good news as we move through this afternoon. So again, the tornado warning continues for another 20 minutes or so. We'll see what the Weather Service does with this warning. Again, we just got a report a little bit ago of some dime-sized hail that was occurring in the Lowell community of Gaston County. But again, no wind damage being reported out of this storm, at least as of yet. And this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. So again, there's been no actual tornadoes spotted. This was more just based off of what the Doppler radar with the velocities was showing us at the time. But again, the rotation seems to have weakened a little bit, and that's some good news. We'll continue to see what they want to do with this tornado warning as it continues to move into the Belmont, Mount Holly area. Paul Creek is next with this storm as it continues to move along Interstate 85. So again, Highway 273, Highway 27, Highway 16, all in this tornado warning as we continue to see this storm move from Gaston County into Mecklenburg County. So you can kind of see the county line here highlighted in that greenish color. So again, we are watching this storm continue to move into the far eastern portions of Gaston County. It's about to move into Mecklenburg County. We have got a report of dime-sized hail in the Lowell community. That is the only real reports we're seeing out of this storm right now as it moves into Mecklenburg County. So again, Mount Holly, you would probably see the highest potential of hail right now along Highway 273, as well as the Paul Creek area. You will probably see some very heavy rain, if not some hail falling over the next few minutes. But again, this tornado warning continues. We're going to watch this storm over the Clover area in South Carolina as well. We'll have to watch this little appendage as it moves into more of York County and Mecklenburg County. So again, this tornado warning continues until 3:15. But looking at the radar, still a lot of heavy rain ongoing along the Interstate 77 corridor. Some lighter rain back over the mountains and foothills of North Carolina as this storm continues to move. If you're listening in South Carolina, we've got storms popping up in the Lawrence County area, as well as Greenwood County. So we'll have to watch this. This is between the Columbia and Greenville office. We'll have to watch and see if we can get anything up and going on these cells as well. But again, the tornado warning continues until 3:15. This is for Gaston and Mecklenburg counties. Mount Holly, Belmont, you right now are under the gun with this storm right now. Not a lot of rotation being indicated on radar, but the potential for some small to moderate sized hail moving into the Mount Holly area right now. So again, if you are driving or know someone driving between Gastonia and Charlotte on Interstate 85, it's a very wet commute, heavy rain with this tornado warning that's moving, tornado warned storm that's moving over the area. So probably not the best of afternoons right now to be out on the road, especially on Interstate 85 as you move into the Charlotte area. So continuing to look at radar, we'll see what the Weather Service does with this tornado warning. So let me go over here to our Twitter stream here and see if there's any new information, some pictures or anything like that that's coming into the area. So again, we also want to let you know that this storm is in that radar gap hole. Again, we're about 80 miles from the radar in Greenville, South Carolina. We do have the terminal Doppler radar near the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, but again, the National Weather Service radar is in Greenville, and so it is definitely in that radar hole. Again, looking, I don't see anything. I don't see anything really sticking out to me that on our Twitter or social media streams of any tornado damage or any damage at all. So that is a very good sign as these storms continue to move through the area. So again, this tornado warning continues until 3:15. This tornado warning was issued at 2:34, and I haven't heard from the Weather Service since. So I'm not sure what their decision is going to be with this storm continuing to move through the area. We've not seen any updates over the last little bit. So again, Mount Holly, Paul Creek, you are in the path of the storm. Reds are kind of the winds moving towards the radar. Green is away. And so when we see these reds and kind of greens get together, that's where it indicates some rotation. But again, this is very broad over the Paul Creek area. Again, this storm has really maintained itself over Interstate 85. Let's see what the Weather Service, again, no update coming out on the storm yet. So we'll continue to watch it as it moves into Mecklenburg County. The tornado warning has been dropped for Gaston County now. So the newest warning continues until 3:15. This tornado warning we will show you here on our radar here. Let me get that pulled up. And let's share the screen here. So this new tornado warning continuing for another 15 minutes. This storm, the tornado warning for Gaston County has been allowed to expire. But the tornado warning remains in effect until 3:15 for west central Mecklenburg County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was 7 miles west of uptown Charlotte near the Paul Creek community, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Again, some of the storms that some of the areas that will be affected will be mainly rural areas over west central Mecklenburg County. So this is going to be moving over Highway 16 and 27 as it moves into west central Mecklenburg County as this storm continues to move into the area. Again, the Charlotte Douglas International Airport is in this location. but the storm should pass just to the north. We did have that one report of some hail in the Lowell community as we heard from our friends Candace Jordan from her brother-in-law. She reported dime-sized hail over the Lowell community about 10-15 minutes ago. So again, I'm going to pull up our weather chat here. I've heard a little bit of action going on. Belmont Fire Department reported to a tree on a house. It's in the Belmont community. So one of the fire officials in the NWS chat has reported a tree on a house in Belmont. And that could have just been from some gusty winds. We saw those winds 50, 60 miles per hour possible moving into the Belmont community just a little bit ago. So again, this tornado warning continues for another 10 minutes as it moves into west central Mecklenburg County in the Paul Creek community. This is going to pass to the northwest of downtown Charlotte or uptown Charlotte. So this is more of a not a rural area, but not as populated area of Mecklenburg County. This is along Highway 27 and Highway 16 as it moves along the Gaston and Mecklenburg County line. So again, Paul Creek community, you right now are under the gun. Highway 1769, you are in the path of the storm, as well as the Highway 27 and Highway 16. A lot of folks from the Catawba County area and Lincoln County take Highway 16 into downtown or uptown Charlotte. It's a populated road that's pretty quick from the Catawba County area into Charlotte. So if you know someone driving down Highway 16, you want to give them an alert as well as the storm continues to move into Mecklenburg County. So you can kind of see the red polygon right here. It's fairly small, but it continues to move into Paul Creek, and that's where this tornado warning continues for the Paul Creek community. Again, let's take a look at the correlation coefficient. This will kind of tell us if there's any debris being lofted up, and again, I don't see any lowering, so that is a good sign. It's all kind of uniform color in this area, so that is pretty well. And this is in the heavy rain portion of the storm. So if there was a tornado being produced, you likely wouldn't be seeing it because it'd be rain wrapped. But again, I don't believe there's a tornado right now in this cell as it moves into northwestern Mecklenburg County. Looking again, let me scroll through our Twitter feed here and see if there's anything of any anything being reported here. I don't see anything. No reports. We did get that one report of a tree down on a home in Belmont, but again, no other damage reports right now coming out of the area, which is a good sign. So we did get that one report of some hail and a downed tree, but again, no reports of any other damage being reported in that area. Let me pull up our Facebook live stream here and see if you all have anything that you are reporting. I haven't popped it up in a little bit, so let me look at that and see what you all are reporting. If you know anyone in this area, share this stream with them. That way they can have information about where this storm's moving. Kimberly reported some heavy rain in Mooresville, so that's some good reports there. This is along a lot of showers and storms that are moving through the foothills and western Piedmont of North Carolina. But again, we did have the first tornado warning in Cleveland County. It moved through Gaston County, and now we have this small little warning over the Paul Creek community in northwest Mecklenburg County. But again, definitely the possibility of seeing some gusty winds, but rotation-wise, it's fairly broad, so that is a good sign there. So we are going to continue to watch this for the next couple of minutes. The tornado warning goes until 3:15, and not sure if it will be extended. We'll see as the cell continues to move into a not as populated area of Mecklenburg County. It's still populated there, but not as densely populated as it would be if it was uptown Charlotte or over towards the Pineville, Matthews area. So that is some good news. So this tornado warning continues for the next little bit, and we will continue to watch it as it moves over the Paul Creek community. Again, nothing to me really screaming out that there's a tornado on the ground. The rotation looks very broad to me as it moves to the north of uptown Charlotte. So this is going to be passing to the north of the airport. There's probably some delays that are in place right now, as at least until the storm moves out of the area. Charlotte Douglas International Airport, just to the south of the cell, so I would probably see some delays there. Again, maybe a little bit of small hail falling out of this storm as it moves into the Paul Creek community. It'll then move into the Derrida area. If you live along Sunset Road, that's a location. Interstate 77, this storm will be moving into that area in the next little bit. It's kind of been tracking along Interstate 85 as the cell continues to move through. Let me get to the weather service here. Again, just the Belmont Fire Department reporting the tree down. Again, there's no reports of being out of that area of Gastonia where we really saw that rotation wrapping up. There's been no damage reports, so that hopefully is a good sign. So the tree was not on a house. It was actually beside, tree fell right beside the house. Appears to be no structure damage so far in the Belmont area, as one of the fire departments there reporting. So that is good news as well. We never want to hear that. So the new warning is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado tag possible. And that will replace the tornado warning. So there's no tornado warning now. In the next little bit, it'll be allowed to expire. And the new warning will have the tornado tag possible. Okay, so that is just saying the tornado warning has been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado tag possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log off and we'll continue streaming radar. And if anything pops back up, I will pop back in. But again, I'm Scotty Powell with the Carolina Weather Group. We're going to go back to radar coverage as the tornado warning has been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning.